business executive, former Army Ranger. I'm also the father of an 11-year-old. I was telling my seatmates that my wife and I were married for 20 years trying to have children. And 10 years ago, 11 years ago, we were blessed to have a little girl. Her name is Ruth. And we homeschooled her for the last 5 years. And the reason we did it was 2 reasons. You just hit on the issue of mental health. We were afraid that there were too many people out here not getting the help, the access to guns, as we saw in Jacksonville this week, that I don't know what I would do if my daughter, if something would have happened to her after waiting 20 years. I don't know, people who know Ruth, they know exactly what I'm talking about. My wife still thinks we should not have sent her to Great Neck Middle. I think Great Neck is a great middle school, but my wife is very concerned about someone doing something dangerous at that school. The second issue she fought me on was the whole issue of we've homeschooled our daughter. We've taught her the truth about our country. If you come to my daughter and mention the word slave, she will say no, they were enslaved. So I wonder what's going to happen at Great Neck Middle when my daughter pushes back on a curriculum that she knows is not true. And so I would like to know your thoughts on those 2 concerns. We put her in the school. It's a great school. We have a great school system in Virginia Beach. But the reason we homeschooled for so many years was because of those 2 concerns. And thank you again for this.
Thank you. Thank you for both those questions. So let me just make a few comments, and we're going to continue to listen to folks. So first of all, behavioral mental health is truly a crisis across all age categories in Virginia and around the nation. And so the sad reality is that if we don't get our arms around this behavioral health crisis, it does translate into self-harm and harming others. And that's why we're so aggressive in our efforts to transform the entire behavioral health system. And we could do an entire town hall on the challenges of transforming our behavioral health system. But let me give you a few key moments to it. One, our current behavioral health system is completely incapable of meeting the need. It's being totally overwhelmed. It's being totally overwhelmed, and in fact, it only focuses when someone is in deep crisis. And then it's a hospital setting and a law enforcement setting. And so we have to transform the entire customer journey of a Virginian who needs help. When they need help, they need to be able to get it the day they need it. And that is preventative care. That is pre-crisis help. That's dialing 988 and speaking to somebody and having someone answer the phone on time. That is having counselors and resources in a workforce that is so depleted. We need more. That's more capacity in crisis and not a hospital setting or a jail setting. And that's why we push so hard for mobile crisis units in every corner of Virginia, crisis receiving centers, so that we can decriminalize a behavioral health moment and run to it. And then finally, we have to give people a pathway back to a healthy life. And that means creating space for them where they have a place to go, where they can continue to get care on their way back. This is a huge transformation. It includes counseling in school with people. It includes remote counseling because of the shortage of people. So this is a giant issue for us. And we're never going to get in front of this unless we take a huge, bold step. I think second of all, safety in our schools is something that every parent here I know fears deeply. Fears deeply. And so that's why the push for school resource officers in the school is so important. That's why the first budget that I was handed last year and that I signed had $45 million in funding for school resource officers on top of what was already there for across the Commonwealth, every school to get one. That's why You passed another bill to give them more resources. We went and found more money this past fall to put another $7 million for more school resource officers. It doesn't stop there. I would say, by the way, if you pick up your child today after school, thank the school resource officers. Thank them. They're part of that community. But we also have to make sure that we have equipped schools with active shooter training, which has happened all the way across the Commonwealth. We should digitize every single floor plan. And I have to say to my friends on school boards, make sure the schools do this, please. This is something that we facilitated in a bill last year, and not every school district has done it. Please take a note, Virginia Beach, please. Norfolk, please. Chesapeake, please. Digitize the school plans. We in fact have required every school to have a safety plan that they review with law enforcement to make sure that we have a way to react. And this by no means takes the evil out, but we're working. And then your comment on history standards is one that I so appreciate. And that's why we work so hard this year. I have felt so strongly that we need to teach all of our history, the good and the bad. We can't know where we're going unless we know where we're going. And our education team worked through what was a bumpy process, and I admit it. It wasn't smooth, and it had been smooth, we probably would have gotten it wrong. But what we did, I believe, is create the very best history standards in the nation. Why? Because we do teach today all of our history, the good and the bad. The root cause of the Civil War was slavery, and we teach that in our schools. We also teach about our Constitution, our Declaration of Independence, our Constitution, what it means to be a citizen. And finally, we recognize Virginia's heroes. Virginia's heroes that have presented themselves from the beginning of this nation, long before we became America, all the way up through the founding of our nation, all the way up through our civil rights movement. We have to teach all of our history. And we have the best history standards in the nation. Now, Secretary Gadara, thank you so much for your work there. So thank you, sir.